In this video, I'm going to be showing you boys my 611 KD build. Now, this build is so nice. Your boy was going to gatekeep. You guys can see your boy's not been uploading. I've been slacking a bit. It's not even slacking. The game is just in a state where I'm not really that motivated to upload like that. Too many faders. The game's a bit dead. But this build, I'm not going to lie, it's been having way too many of a great game. And it's, I'll be doing you guys a disservice if I don't post it. Hence the reason why I'm posting this video right now. The build's been going crazy. Now, think of this build as the base of the build. Okay, this is what the build is currently looking like right now. Okay, this is the very base. Right now, I'm going to show you guys what it's also will be looking like. Okay, very quickly, you guys can see me and Taish. Yeah, you guys can see we're still level 12, bro. We are still level 12. We are. Look at this, bro. Look at both of us. He's got 14k XP. I've got 10k. But it's a two-man grind where you guys can see the whole squad's not here. Anyways, that's another stuff for another video. We don't really mind though. We're gonna do it the long way. Pause. We're gonna grind it. We're gonna grind out till we get to 30. But so a lot of you guys are watching this video right now. You guys probably already have all the, you guys are all level 30s. Some of you guys don't even contribute that much to your squad. But hey, anyways, this is what the build's looking like. The base of it. Okay, this is the very basic of the very build right now. So if you guys want to see what the potentials are looking like, right? So don't worry about it low passing at the moment. You still be able to get up to a 74, but I think I would leave at 70 because I'm fine with 65 as it is, but I'll just get this to 70 just to make sure the parts are a little bit more firm, a bit more crisp. The post control can go up to a 95, which is insane for me personally. Like, I really like that. I don't know how. Also, we can still get a 90 standing dunk. We can still get an 86 driving layup. So, like, the potential of this build is insane. It's really good. And you guys will see from the gameplay, we're already going crazy already with the way the build is. Now, there are different versions of KD, okay? People are always opting for the high mid-range KD build with the 94 midi, and I think that's a nice build. But with that, you're going to give up the 89 driving dunk, and I wanted the 89 driving dunk. So if you have an 87 driving dunk, you'll let me know how good that is. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I wanted the 2-foot contact dunk. So whatever the other dunk is at 89 requirements, I wanted that on my build. Quickly, animations. Okay, before you guys ask, this is my animation. This is all I am using. And the jump shot I'll be using, not that I'm going to show a lot of it, but this is the jump shot I am currently using in the clips you guys will be watching. So yeah, not to waste any of your time, let's get into this gameplay, boys, and we're going to go into the build afterwards and break down the build a little bit more. Here we are in the rec. I'm going to be showing you boys a couple of games I played on this build. I think the first one we're showing you guys is my very first game on the build. And you guys will kind of be able to see the transition of it. Okay? I always like showing my first game because I always want to kind of show to you guys, I have a vision when I make these builds, right? And, does it play like the vision? If it does play like how I'm expecting it to play, the first game is always a very good indication of that. Now, with this build, I want it to be very versatile, okay? I don't want to just be good offensively. That's a bit dead, okay? You're a power forward. You need to be able to get some rebounds. You need to be able to, help in the paint. You need to be able to protect, you need to be, think about KD. KD is a very underrated defender, okay, in terms of like his defense. People don't really talk about a lot. People, focus a lot on his offense. And kind of like, my vision for the build, I want it to be very good offensively and I want it to be very good defensively. I want it to be kind of everywhere right now. Obviously, the fades are my go-to shots. Okay, a lot of centers do not jump on the fades. Okay, a lot of you guys just put your hands up, and it's not enough. Now, this build also, the stills are very underrated. Now, one of the things I didn't talk about at the start of the video that I really like about this build is the agility of this build. This is what separates this build from a lot of other builds that I currently have at the moment. For a 6'11", having a 70 agility, okay, you move like crazy. Like, I don't want to say you move like a guard, but you almost have like a guard type, defense, in terms of how you're moving laterally. You guys can see the block as well. And there's going to be a lot of the blocks, okay? You guys will see a lot of blocks with this build. I really love helping around the paint. The build is so versatile. Like, it almost made me want to make a pure rim at 6'11". I think the 6'11" height is very underrated. I honestly think it's probably one of the, probably the best height build on this game. I know the 7-foot are quite good, but the 6'11", that agility that you've got is insane. Now, again, like I said, I wanted that 89 driving dunk because I'm someone, whilst the build does have shooting, you guys can see you can be able to shoot on the build. My play style, kind of evolves predominantly. You guys can see another sort of put back there. My playstyle evolves predominantly around, cutting to the paint, getting dunks. And, if the space isn't there, I want the ability to be able to shoot or at least, do some fades. Again, you guys can see I love driving to the paint. The one thing you guys will not see me do, which you can do on this build, is you can abuse the fade. Okay, now I am not a fader. You'd never see me fade on this game. That's what's making this game, in my opinion, extremely kind of boring and kind of dead at the moment, where you just play a game and the PG's just fading, scoring 100 points or 70 points or whatever it is. We end up losing that first game, by the way, but it was a good indication for a first game. But yeah, like I said, the faders are really killing the game, and I just quit games. Now the second game right here, it's gonna be me and Taish. Our teammates quit. Okay, this is a 2v5. Okay, this is what, and if you guys don't know how tough a 2v5 is when you're playing squad, bearing in mind every one of these guys are basic. I don't know if they're the same squad, but definitely they came as a squad. So they're gonna be double teaming us. They're gonna be doing everything they can to make sure that we do not get any buckets. Now, also the reason why I like showing these full gameplays is I want to show you guys how good the build is. You guys want to be able to see how the build plays. There's no point in me just showing you guys one or two highlight clips and telling you guys to make the build. It's like, nah, bro, Phil, we need to see what this build actually does. Now, the build, I also switched to centers on this build. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't recommend it, to play the five, but you can do it. Okay. There's so many games where we don't have a center or we have an AI center, and I'd rather just play, the five position myself. So I switched myself onto the bigs. And it's all right, it's not like it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Okay, we're kind of coping with it. You guys can see even when I'm in the paint. Now I don't know what they've done the game, some of the clips you guys are watching right now. I don't know if 2K has done anything to it. This was prior to the dunk glitch, because all of a sudden my meters isn't that high anymore when I'm underneath the paint. So I don't know what 2K has done. You'll let me know if you guys are experiencing the same thing with your dunk meter, if it's shrunk a little bit. But again, when you're stuck, you guys can see a lot of the bigs on this game. What they like to do is just kind of put the hands up, right? It's not, I don't think it's good enough for a contest, but you guys can see, bro, this build, the block, the help defense is insane. That's one of the key thing you're gonna notice when you make the build. It's just how agile you are. Bearing in mind you are 6'11, like you're literally moving around the court like you're a guard. So it makes it very easy for me to be able to help my teammates. Like it makes it very easy for me to be able to help the centers. Um, I used to think I like playing center, but then, every time I make a power forward, I realize the power forward, especially depending on how you make it, you're actually more involved in the game than you think, because most of the time, you guys already know how the 7-4s are. Look at that nice little spin right there. You guys already know how the 7-4s are on this game. They just stay out, okay? It's very boring, but you guys can see how active I am. When you're the 4, a lot of the power forwards, they like cutting, they like doing some stuff. You can help, you can bait the players, you can shade. So there's a lot more activity, whereas it's a bit harder to do as a center. If you try and shade on a center, there's a 7-4 out there. Yeah, forget it, bro. Those are wide open shots all the time. So the power forward is quite fun. It's a very fun position. So if that's something you're thinking of doing, or you want to make a versatile power forward build, now again, bearing in mind, obviously I'm playing with my teammates right here. I do play with this build a lot with the randoms. Now this is the build with just the 85 standing dunk. Like I said, they've changed a couple of things. The bar isn't as big anymore for some reason, but look, we can still protect and we can still help in the paint. We've still got that paint defense. The help is still there. And this was a tough game. This was a very, you guys can see, it was just a 2v5. We ended up just scraping that win against this kind of the squad. I know they were very, very upset about that one, but shout out Tish for carrying that whole game. Um, but yeah, the next game I'm going to be showing you boys, we had, I think this was like, we had 4 blocks on this game, in this game. I just wanted to kind of show you guys how versatile the build is. Okay, the build is not just about scoring. I think everyone in this game, everyone is so focused on scoring that everyone forgets that defense is way more important. Like when you play defense, you get easy breaks. You get, you get easy, easy points on offense. Easy fast breaks, dunks, 3-pointers, whatever it is. But also I'm showing you guys I'm playing different builds. I'm not too fussed. Like the one key thing I also realized about this game, and I know people are gonna have a different opinion about this, is the rebound is not that deep, bro. Like previous 2Ks, if you see someone with a 99 rebound, I'm like, bro, this is going to be a long game. But I've played so many centers with like 99 rebound, 96 offensive rebound, and like, I'm not that bothered. Like, it's not as scary as the previous 2Ks. I don't know what it is, and I'm not complaining. But if you're thinking of potentially making a 99 rebounding build, I would seriously, think about it twice. Okay. Now, I know there are going to be guys out there that say fear 99 rebound is OP, but for me, I wouldn't say OP. I think it's good, but I wouldn't say OP. Like I'll go for this version of my build where you're more agile on the court. You can run up and down the court. It's easy for you to kind of do this. You guys can see. I'm telling you, the build is insane, bro. It's very underrated. And because you look so skinny on the court, I don't know why people. I don't know if people just think. Plus, I don't look 6'11. right? That's the one key thing. I don't know because of the body weight or whatever it is. I don't look 6'11" personally on the court, or maybe everyone else is just a giant, bro. Maybe all these 7'4" just make your build look small. But you guys can see the help defense is really good on this build, and I like cutting a lot. Okay, that's just why I want to key think of that and one. Um, We've also gone for the finishing specialization, so we'll be able to get a lot of cap breakers. Look at that chase down, bro. That is insane. Like when I play on this build, again, I couldn't be asked to upload it, but the build has been playing consistently well, bro. Like it's been consistently good to the point where I'm like, if I don't upload this, yeah, you guys should be mad at me, bro. But look, man, look, even this contested layup, we are still making it. Um, but yeah, again, there's not this was like a four block game. We still had pretty good stats, but the defense makes it really fun. So even when you're having a tough game, there are going to be certain games where you're not going to have the best offensive game. It happens. What else can you provide for your team? What else can you do? The problem with some of these randoms is they have no offense and they have no defense, right? It's really bad. So you're not helping anyone anywhere. Now, this game right here, this is our we had 7 steals. Yes, we had 7 steals this game. Again, this just goes to show you the versatility of the build. The agility for me personally is the most underrated stats in this game. It's not perimeter defense, it's agility, bro. Because agility is basically how you're basically moving left, right, laterally off ball, right? And because I have such a, I wouldn't say it's not extremely high, but for a 6'11" build, a 70 agility is very, very good. So you can slide around the court very easily, help in the passing lanes, help with the chase down blocks, and then run back to your guy. I'm 6'11", so if you're trying to shoot, I will jump and I'm gonna get a contest in it. They've patched the 7'4s now. It's really good to see. You know, they can still make some shots, but it's definitely not as overpowered as it was when the game first came out. But look, again, I do switch myself onto the big sometimes, and I like playing. I don't mind being the last line of defense with this build. Again, whilst I do have a lot of shooting, my preference is to drive. I like driving. I like finishing in the paint. Look at the defense, bro. Like you're so quick. I rip so many guys, even by just bodying them up or just staying in the right position. That you get so many steals. And if you're stuck, again, this is not a build where, as much as I have so much offense, I don't really utilize it, unless I have to. Do you get what I mean? Like I let my teammates just play the game. You guys can see we're still snagging. You can still sneak in for those offensive rebounds, even when it's crowded like this. And this is what I'm trying to say to you, boys. The 99 rebound, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I know. So y'all let me know. I think if you're gonna make a high rebounding build, I would definitely recommend making it with a high vertical. Okay, I do think vertical makes a big difference this year. So I wouldn't make those like 75, 99 rebounding build unless you're like 7'3", 7'4". But if you can max out your vertical, I would definitely recommend doing so. You're gonna get a lot more rebounds with it. But again, just kind of hovering around the play, hovering around the court. You guys can see him trying to dex the three, dex the ball right there, staying out. And look, you have so many options. Look, right here, I had to take a shot like this, but you'd never see me do this stuff regularly because I don't like watching it, therefore I don't like doing it either. So again, another still right there. Like all these faders make the game so hard to play, bro. The amount of games, especially in the last day or two, I just close that, boys. I literally just close app because yeah, I'm not gonna be watching you guys fade. I don't care if my team's winning or losing. If I see both PGs, all they're doing is fading from the 3-point line, not middies, but fading from the three. Nah, bro, I'm out. I ain't watching that, bro. But anyways, we're back here again, you have that option with this build. This is why I like it very much. You have that option to be able to play in the midi. You guys can see you can finish around the paint. Now, like I mentioned earlier in this video, this is the very base level of this build. You don't have 90 standing dunk yet. Your block can still go up to an 88, which we don't have yet. And you can just look, you can just glide around the court. You have 68 speed with ball, so you do have that lightning launch. So if you specialize with playmaking, you may be able to get out to gold. So that's gold lightning launch on a 6'11" build, which is really, really nice in my personal opinion. But look, we can kind of just spam around the paint right here. We kind of decided that wasn't going to work. And we went straight for the mid-range. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You always have that option. And look, you're just always in a lane. Your build is very versatile. Like I mentioned, the agility is really good. You can cut to the paint. You can dunk the ball. You can shoot. I mean, what can't the build really do? Do you get what I mean? Like you can still snag on offense, and look, you can still go up with those standing dunks if you're in those positions. And obviously, again, you can still shoot. I mean, shooting is so easy. That's why I don't even bother like showing you guys a lot of clips of me shooting because I just think it's too easy this year. But that was it. That was our 7th still game. So you guys have seen we had a 4 block game, 7 still game. And one of the things I did with this build that I don't normally show with my other builds is the 1v1. Okay, I was like, you know what, this build agility is quite nice. I actually took it to the 1v1. This was today. I actually took it to the 1v1 today, and this was the reason I actually uploaded this video, because I was like, you know what, this build is too nice. Okay, we're doing everything nice. I'm not gonna gatekeep it anymore. I'm gonna show you boys, because again, it's the motivation to upload in this game. The faders are making it really tough to play, and if I'm not enjoying the game, I don't want to upload nothing about the game. Bro. I don't want to be talking negative about 2K. So if I ain't got nothing positive to say, I just keep my mouth shut, bro. So, anyways, look at that. This is the 1v1. So for you guys that are wondering, this build is very versatile. I think you can use it for the twos. I think you can use it for the threes. I think you can take it to the 1v1. Obviously, if you play a super high post scorer, yeah, good luck, right? So, but again, when it comes to like keeping up with PGs, you can do your best. You're not going to be as useless as like a 7-4 trying to guard some of these PGs. So, this was a 6-8 we're playing against this game. You have all these dribble moves. You have the dunk packages. Now, talking about dunk packages, I had to switch a lot of my dunks. I had to turn off a lot of my dunks because I don't know if it's a 7-4. Look at that KD little fade right there. I don't know if it's a 7-4 or what, bro. Like 6'11" height, but some of the dunks are so bad. So I just had to turn a lot of them off. And just keep the basic one on. So I'm using the LeBron one quite a lot. And that's the one I use really. So if you guys have a better dunk that works and is really good, you'll let me know. But yeah, the 1v1 is nice. So I think I might start playing the 1v1 a little bit more. With this build, obviously, I'm not going to use any other build to do it. But again, you have all these options when you get stuck. And this is why, like, when I make my builds, I always put post control there, because you never know when you're going to need it, man. Sometimes, someone's going to, cut you off. They're going to play a really good defense, and you want that additional help. You guys can see you're kind of faking them out. Because they don't know what you're gonna do. When you start doing that fake, you've made a fade, they're gonna start, jumping on it, start falling on it. It was only because I realized when I was playing this guy, I was like, hey, I can dunk the ball too, man. I'm not gonna try and force the shot. I'm just gonna keep going to the lane. You guys can see I broke his ankles right then. I dunked on him too. And yeah, this build goes crazy. This build goes crazy. So hopefully, you guys do like this build. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know there's so many versions of KD that people are gonna make, but I wanted that 8 or 9 stand driving dunk because rather than me shooting, I prefer to dunk. So whilst I have the ability to shoot, dunking is still my preference. Okay, that's still how I like to play the game. But if you're someone that likes to shoot, then obviously you can go for the 94 milli 87 driving dunk. I don't think that's a bad build either. I've seen a lot of them 6'10, 6'11s in the game. But that was it. That was our 1v1 game. So hopefully you guys enjoy the whole video. I know this is way longer than usual. But that's because your boy doesn't know when next I'm going to upload. So whenever I get a chance to showcase my build, I just want to show everything. Anyways, let's quickly pop into the build. I've kind of talked about everything, but let's just kind of wrap it up with the actual build in the builder. So here we are in the builder. Okay, it doesn't really matter where your hand is. You can switch it left or right. I've seen obviously a lot of people use number 35. KD's currently number 7, and I think my version is probably slightly like old man KD, but this is the build. Like I mentioned throughout the whole video, you can make this version with a 74 mid range, and I think that's also gonna go crazy. But I wanted, the reason I'm precisely 213 is you guys can see the defensive rebound. You get gold box out beast at 85. And also, obviously, 85 defensive rebound is nice. So I wanted that. That's the reason why I did that. And if you go to 14, you guys can see your speed with ball drops to a 67. So you don't get that lightly in launch. So the sweet spot is at 213, which I think a lot of people have figured out, because when I play a lot of 6'11s, a lot of them are actually 213. So they all know what they're doing. Now, like I mentioned, I personally wanted that driving dunk. Okay, I wanted that driving dunk to be at 89. This is what the build is going to be looking like. Actually, let me quickly reset this. I don't know what's happened. Maybe me trying to edit the build messed up quite quickly. But this is what the build's looking like right here. Okay, now, like I said, I made it with 48 passing because I knew I'll be able to get it up. Now that goes up to a 74, which is really good. You can still get a block to an 88 as you're playing. The agility, if you want to get it up to, then again, I would honestly, 70 is fine. I have no issues. The one thing I would recommend, if you guys are maybe thinking about it, is if you want to put your pluses, if you have the the attributes to do it, and you want to put in your vertical, I would recommend that. I wouldn't actually say no to that. Again, this build is really nice because you're able to get that 71 perimeter defense, which also gives you challenger. So the challenger helps with the contest, right? So whenever I contest players, they get a lot of red or really contested jump shots. Again, you can't get it like an 89 3-pointer, so I just opted to stop for the limitless range. But again, if you want to make the 87 drive and dunk version with 94 MIDI, I don't think it's a bad build either. So, but this is the build. My post control, like I mentioned, does go up to a 95, so which is pretty insane. But if you're someone that want to go for close shot too, you also have that option, so you can get that up. I'm pretty sure you can get up to a 92 quite easily with this build also. But yeah, this is it. It's called a Rim Reaping. What's the name of the build again? It's called a Rim Reaping 3-level scorer. And I think that's a really nice build. I won't even change the name if I do get the option. I kind of like that, KD Slim Reaper. So having a Rim Reaping 3-level scorer that looks like KD is pretty nice. Anyways, this has been a long video, so hope you guys enjoy and hope you guys stayed throughout the whole time. Like I said, your boy don't know when I'm going to upload next, but whenever that is, if we have a great game or a crazy game or something like that, you guys will be seeing me again. So until then, I'll catch you boys in the next video.